Welcome to another startup and complete car documentation. What we have today is a 2014 Kia Soul base.
This Soul is painted in clear white.
On the front row panels, you have storage areas with bottle holders, and you do get power windows, locks, and mirrors.
This one has a gray two-tone interior, and cloth seats are standard on the base model Soul.
Both front seats are manually adjusted. But now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine.
In the mid to late 2000s, an automotive trend began of boxy-shaped, compact, tall hatchbacks, such as the Scion XB, Nissan Cube, and the like. However, fast forward to today, and the only one that's really stuck around is this, the Kia Soul. And stuck around it has, because it's still incredibly popular and one of the most frequently seen cars on the road. Also, props to Kia for coming up with an ad campaign that people still remember over a decade later. Because when you see one of these, it's still hard not to think giant freaky CGI hamsters. But anyways, the Soul made its debut for the 2010 model year, and as of the 2023 model year is currently in its third generation. Kia technically classifies this as a crossover, but I personally look at it as more of a tall hatchback, as it's never actually been offered with all-wheel drive. This 2014 model we have today represents the Soul's second generation, codenamed PS, which was produced from model years 2014 through 2019. The styling of the second-gen Soul takes inspiration from the 2012 Kia Traxxter concept car. The second-gen Soul was also the first one to offer an all-electric variant, with the Soul EV debuting for 2015. For the 2017 model year, the second-gen Soul received a mid-cycle facelift, which gave it some very subtle updates to the front and rear fascias, but more notably introduced a new 1.6-liter turbocharged engine and dual-clutch transmission for the top trim level. But obviously that makes this 2014 a first-year pre-facelift model. The US market Kia Soul came in 3 trim levels for 2014. There was a base model like the one in this video, and then you also had the mid-range Plus and the range-topping Exclaim. There were 2 different engines offered for 2014, both being naturally aspirated inline-4s. Base model Souls came with a 1.6-liter engine making 130 horsepower. Stepping up to a Plus or Exclaim got you a larger 2-liter engine with 164 horses. As for transmissions, the base model can be had with either a 6-speed manual or automatic, the one in this video having the former. Plus and Exclaim models with the larger 2-liter engine, however, came only with the 6-speed auto.
In the instrument cluster, we have 4 analog gauges, which are your tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, and temperature gauge. There is also a digital info display, which can be gone through via this button on the steering wheel. It has a 4-spoke design, multifunctional steering wheel. There are sport grips at 10 and 2. It has 4 controls. Right here you have your audio controls with your volume, C-track, and different modes. Right here you have your voice command button along with your hands-free phone controls. And then right here your information display controls, and with this button you have 3 different modes for your steering. You have normal, sport, and comfort, which basically recalibrates how heavy or light the steering feels. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic. Your panel dimmer, traction control, climate vent for the driver. On this side you have your exterior lighting stock, while on this side is your wiper stock. Going down the center of the interior, you have your central climate vents, hazard switch. Right here is your whole radio head unit. It is AM, FM, and Sirius XM. You have your set of single zone climate controls, passenger airbag indicator, a little bit of storage, along with 2 12-volt power outlets, a USB port, and an aux port. Behind the shifter you have 2 cup holders, the parking brake is hand operated, and then you've got a larger storage area. Both sun visors do have vanity mirrors, lights, and card holders. Manually dimming rear view. On the overhead console you got a sunglass holder along with your overhead lighting. And there are grab handles at all 4 corners. But now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window and take a look at the engine bay. Both front windows are fully automatic.
The base model Soul's standard rims are these 16-inch Steelies with hubcaps. Powering the base model Soul is the model's base engine for 2014, which is Hyundai Kia's Gamma 1.6-liter naturally aspirated inline 4. It's an all-aluminum power plant with dual overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, direct injection, and dual continuously variable valve timing. Horsepower is rated at 130 at 6,300 RPM, while torque is rated at 118 at 4,850 RPM. Directing that power to the front wheels of this Soul is a 6-speed manual transmission. Running on regular unleaded with a 14.2-gallon fuel tank, EPA estimates for a Soul equipped like this one are 24 mpg on the city and 30 mpg on the highway. It has a McPherson strut front suspension and a torsion beam rear setup. Stopping the Soul are 4-wheel disc brakes with ventilated front rotors. Curb weight is about 2,700 pounds.
As you saw earlier, the fuel cap is on the driver's side. You have 60/40 split folding rear seats. There's a mat pocket on the back of the front passenger seat. You also got a coat hook on this side. So, space back here, I'm about 6'1", and I put the driver's seat about where I'd have it if I was driving. And I get quite a good amount of space back here because, for one thing, even though it's a pretty small car, it's shaped just like a box, so I still get quite a lot of headroom. Ample headroom, actually. And even with the seat as far back as it is, I don't feel cramped. My legs are kind of close to the back of the seat, but they're not like really pushing up against it. And there's also plenty of footroom below the seat. I mentioned this in a couple of my other Soul videos, that this is the reason people love these cars so much, is because the boxy shape really maximizes interior comfort considering how small the car is. Single exhaust, rear wiper.
Cargo space in the Soul is 24.2 cubic feet when the back seats are up. Fold them down and you now get 61.3 cubic feet of space.
Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2014 Kia Soul. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.